is Buadu TV. Truth and integrity.
Tour ya omukweno komo friend apology tour sen komo ye nyansafo a
ye hu numerous appointment na e koso our Supreme Court bench appointment na President Akufo-Addo ye known partisan individuals amanfo nim say apapa yo NPP there is no single sensible justification for what they are doing. So for me, these people are just backing dogs.
Kwa na wiase mu nyansa nyina mu nim meboa ana mo party na da ne Kifet Club no mo nkɔ na mo kɔ concentrate na mo fixe
Azemu Listowel Ivan Yaa Titi na NPP for so no na omati so Yaa Titi the NPP effect aba men skilled banks amugu no amanfo nyuma NPP betena so mugu no ne nyoma mo ye ne basa Yaa Titi afaya mo e de afa ho enei omatwa mo ho ekon afi President Mahama ese amount for the petition abreno say onyi CJ fi ho enti wono nkotena bebi an say NPP fa gidam ama nesu komoko demonstration gidigidi ase omukwa no munim nyansa wo Ghana na list won so atete ama mo no Ivan so de ne de appeal so enti wa calculate na hwe list wo Ivan Yaa Titi e de ne besi eja o say NPP ada ne Kifet Club ai Kifet Club omukona mko fixe Sanso and Ivan say, oh, Ghana Bar Association they do not mean they are just like backing dogs, or more back keke, or muntiminka.
Tia wants to say elections have consequences. Elections are now by yatono, it won't soon so. Whether it being bad or good, it won't soon so. And it's in our bar yabetu bia wa Ghana hano. Enfie na ya to sa bana ye de tumi hye amanyofo ensa no ekoyi a ye nyina ye ho ha yen enkoyi a ye nyina ye ho kire yen e wo se ka bibi kye yen se abato ho sunsanso no ebetimi aye papa ebetimi aye bone enti ansa ne ye beto abama nipa bi enipakuo bi se wo medi oman nanim no e wo se ye hwe nipakuo no wo musu ene wo moban enipa na odi wo manim no awase ye hwe omusu ene wo muban enu na be kire nsunsuanso no se be ya papa ana se be ya bone enu obi from na na oka cha me se ya na minimara ase de bia asema wo kafa NPP fo ho nye ena me se nya se de me kafa mo ho nye eya do amu ya na nyame na meka ya Ghana for wo pa postu NPP ade bi e wo wan kasa wo page postu wo mu nsem bi o mo kanare comment section enyame na meka wo eya Ghana for a wo ma so wo ma hwe mfie nwotwe atwam asa be so wo ma hwe mfie nwotwe ya asa atwam yi enti mfie dunsia enyame na wo se meka obi karata kire Badia ba kwa me pesa me kana say ye Ghana fo ya yeto aba abato ne won sunsuanso ne de se ye be hwe enkofukuo kura ye to aba ma wo mo e simple because yeto aba ma sunsuanso bi aba ye na amoa yen yeto aba sunsuanso de ba ye ne say woman no musika wo men's gold no asoya eye wo madwuma e wo se no mu hunu say se men's gold ska me nkrofo na chese ye ji sa men's gold no kura mpa eye ya sedie se enipa no musika wo ho no e wo se ye make sure se wo monsaka wo musika abato ho sunsanso no enti men's gold ye gu no ye de nkrofo sika akohye mu no so ya se guru mba twom pese ye bisa se sika no e wo hwan ho because samra ne ye see ya can say men's gold properties any de keka hu nyina nam 1 ne niema nyina de a na me ba cho sika no so ankrofo de koto gold kro na wo mo se eya scam no ana eya ponzi scheme no me pa cho say sika no e wo hwan ho e ko hefa. You see there are certain questions we are not asking because I mean obi no obi ye adwuma na wo se adwuma nipa ne ye no eye scam eye dream me dem ensa to adwuma no so me na me de me sika akoto no me ne woni asem o eye nipa na oye adwuma na sanka ne ho asem a me sika no so eye de na kam enti abatu hu sunsanso ne bi na make kire no men's god for sika akamu no ye misase sika no ekọ he because ya fa nkwa ya charity work ya fa nkwa ya adoye ewo su children's home eni afa nkwa ya adoye ewo orphanage home bia minim anase ayaresa bia minim eni yanka nkire yen Ghana for so say men's god for sika na ye CZ ya anase ye de sato so no me pa cho sika na ye tam ye no ye de akoto hospital bed akwagu kwalebu se be ya wokọ ye be yanka cho say no bed sika no ewo he ewo obi ho basa nipa kro no enye ni sika eye wo Ghana ni na wo do sika koto ho no eye wo dia abato wo susanso ne se sika na wo wa bre a wanya no obi afa tumi na wa wo de ma no so agi sika na hye ne botom because sika na kwa Bank of Ghana ka so mo update yen se sika na ekwa seke for wa wo se nko mo update yen ba be si ne ye te hwe no ne se men's god for ya ye de mo wa ma bre no makwa akwada banks na ye local banks ye Ghana for banks ana na do dan kwa kufu ado bawumia ene kan ofori ataka won tuma bo ano egu no se be ya data bank nko abe ye yie no me pa cho wo mo sika akeka sa financial institutions mu no sika no e wo hefa abato hu susuaso no ebi no enti wo wa bre na wanya wo sika no nipa na wo sa kosa light to abama no baaye no wo fifire ni sika na won saka ye no wasa fa sa tumi na wo de ma no so de ne sa to sika no so de aso ni botom so de akwa he obi anim ya so hwan nipa Eric nipa se hwan eno waje we na ye de sika ma no so won kwatua enso customers suma no mu so ebi mu ganta so kra su ebi mu awuwu abato hu sunsanso no so anytime bi a ye kwa akoto aba no e was ye check enkrofukuo na ye ne wo mo kwa akoto aba no ne ye hu enkrofo e de tumi ni koma wo mo nya se ya sorry ya keke ne de tumi akoma enkrofo bi o because e was ye hu se ye de tumi ni ma no e hu sunsanso be ba so say ye papa say ye bone it for the past 8 years enkrofukuo na ye de tumi sha wo mo nsa so wo mo hwe oman no so no ensunsanso a eba Ghana for so no na nya ensunsanso papa enti ade na mu hu no thank you to ni mu amani abre na ada ne nkomodie na ye nyina ye ka bia bi kura de ye sede no e kire characters anase enipasu a ye de oman we sha mo nsa mfie nwotwe it is a wusika kwa kam wa men's gold na wusika kwa kam wa financial institutions na ye gu nu na e wo se e ka kire wo se enipa na wo de tumi sha ne nsa no onye obi odwe wo ho party bia ni mu asem but ya ma me wo interest and I say eya na hu hia me say party bia me pesa me kam mu asem ne say party bia your potential government party bia no a wo gina ho a wo timi kwa elections mani ye yie no sa party no wa akonya say obeyo aban mani ye yie na sa party no mu nipa nye nipa papa no mo be ya aban a ensunsa so bone na de breyen eto ya Ghana ni na so wo se wo di interest our politics mu a wa na wo ya ho because ekoyi a ekoma wan ka so mani nyina benefit ekọ bone no ye nyina ye bre enti abato a yeto wo Ghana ha no e won sunsanso na political party kese te say NPP I say adani Kifet club as a leadership in the party nim the last time we catch us chairman team onye in charge and so onu na kamremu ewo NPP mu no e was onye in charge of the party he should be the leader of the party as we speak because party no opposition omo akasa constitution say sa party no opposition a chairman and the leader of the party enti anu ana say na me na ye kwa thank you to no ya rapo no e dia fa Dr. Bawumia ho ya rapo no te say dia de ayi Valentine gift agu hampam ni ya rapo ho ya rapo thank you to ni nyina dia fa nipa no ho ana party ni mo di nipa na chi sana dia na kwayo enti chairman team me catch up play fa onye in charge. And one what Obi and taking instructions from him. Dr. Bawumia taking instructions free no. Jeff can Obi executive da mu kran pon on the day or that woman no kran no. Omu no. Na me bisa say chairman team woni sika na because say NPP party no wo pese wo ye panyina wo so wonya sika. Woni sika wontimi die ni mu. enti say na sika no wo sika na ayi Dr. Baumia ho to ono na sponsor thank you to no afen na MPP for ade achi wo ma da sore say wo mo ba ba ti school me say JFK kasa asa no mesere because unim that time acho 2015 2016 NDC forecast wo mo ti school e wa headquarters ho na obi oya party ba bia wo say wo kosa school ni bi na wonya wo certificate they had a purpose for that NPP for tena krom ha sere wo mo e da ade ache afa do mo susu wo mo kwachi school ni bi o wo mo su kwa kwachi school ni bi afa de school na ho aba faso afa de hu say yesua de a eye yie chairman team is not in charge of NPP and they said there's no leadership Dr. Baumia no atam party no de abonebo because our agenda for 2028 and who is ano many ambri wo mu because makacho say every political party a potential government wama be di bi echo wama be di mfie nwotwe omukọ ekọ ni busumi nsia it is a characters when you do a man share woman say mfie nwotwe a you should know ensunsanso eba our mind no so amanyoku a wo mu ahokọ mo ntimi ntoreti wo mo de wo mu akasa ho obi antimi nyina say wadwenkyire ni yenya yanka mom ni arrive at one decision they can't and you are supposed to so make take a decision am man ama mimi num yenu ya benefit ana it's a lie and now I see Dr. Baumia so akwakwachia abrante na e wo ne sekan no and no so ada ne wahala MPP for me wana fofo sa wo na atam ya wasem empanyufo no mo party no ya ne binum di nkomo and one more kasa wo be a party ni gina sese no keep it club kra ho onfaso chen wo mo ha na ye de na ka party nyina ya tena sese ye ko thank you tower adina kwa ti say nipa ba ko pabi ne ya pase ye ko showcase no adina say nipa ba ko pabi ne ya ko ka ne ho sempa nkyere Ghana fo ne party ma say ba ya sade yan ye beti ba sade na ko biem and you see fashions na eba MPP no say dia ye bebre o say aduchum factor so sore ah ono abu aduchum fashion and also sare gidi enim say Kennedy fashion wo ala fashion dia ono wa break woko and afanya market so u kai se me be ka kire wo time anu omo ye vet na nani abre a no obi sa questions bi ana nyansa nim me ka kire wo say afanya market has an agenda person or money yes NPP party no unyansa ni ba ko a waka o party ni mu a chese o pay attention ye de ne bibi e be ye so o party nim and Kennedy so factor e wo party nim ti say we the party na da was see aka fit club na da ho no e mu acheche kwa be 5 chairman team dey no is nowhere to be found no one can wo oh no one can wo kra maka chairman say so try so wo kwa bia mu obere me na be ka kire wo or try say or kwasa kansie we biem chairmanship ni biem obere enti chairman wo dia twa ho na kifit club fo anya dia one person wo moye because wonim Kennedy na adwesa nya de obegem afanya market so one agenda si na ni so na wo ka say na ni abre na waji agina mo ani gatu toku nu asem ya asem enfa ne ho waji abo ne bo a wo ko santokwa hunu we wo ka say de entia o agenda ese nkwafo amususu se aduchum ewa ni monyam aduchum huni asem aduchum ye ni papa wo mususu se onu betimi aboa wo mo ya santini wono so ne factor na shaase asore amomoti ho a me huni ayemo ahintini me tumu fa mutie odi mu start thank you to na me ka say ade akoso ne nkomodie ene nkwafo ji microphone ansem wo mo kan anhwe ade asem beba enti thank you to no mo suspend mo se mo suspend ene say yesikantwe abam etuo abam mo anhwe ye na mo to aso a ye besi no mo amugyegireje na ya Ghana fo ne ya betira ha ne ahwem mewa interest was asem we mu because NPP your potential party obetima government because one man be akọ Ghana for to aba over 1 million e di ama wo mo pen over 1 million votes e di ama NPP enti anya party ketewa ho asem ne yeka no enti say a leadership na wo party ni mu a say party ni ba ban mu a wo mo na be take positions no wo mo ni ye ni they can't even think straight they can't even tolerate each other Okay, so I'm to me authority young Ghana for. And that's the reason why you're mumbuye. Mammy can be sure. Chief Justice Asamna air crop banner says here, a final market, I found a work up. No, one sir. Situation. Now I'm catch us. I'm disappointed in them because they say, "Me mom on your credible, should be credible. I'm integrity be You know why? Our first statement, you know, mobile you know. Our mobile can you say, Adiana President John Dramani Mahama, you know, is in line with the Constitution. Obiama Kwaima and Mrani Juma. Ghana Bar Association. This was their first statement about Bonting. It's in wine and the Ghana Bar Association putting Komobium. Fedi and Kwamana Sadane. Ghana Bar Association, person of which I say, just I didn't cross to the to the sense that Mobile Court. A wine, a Sadiano, a Fenno Markin. A honorable Fenno Markin was actually one lawyer, Sibi Edim Como, and was say, Mui you sumo. What's why, just say, and no Ghana firm pay attention to them, no. And what Churogu in the Facebook wall. Nyamnam churo yo wa churo gu ni Facebook wa kwa ko sisi honorable afenyo market ni Facebook page wa churo gu wa say Council of State Ghana for ehwamo democracy no kabiba mi kabia memo no Council of State for wa ma disappoint yen na Ghana for na aka cho so ba disappoint wo mo anasa wo na Council of State for disappoint o but Ghana ho yenyini wo politics na ye ni mu kakra de ya me ya no say Ghana for teacher binum ye hypocrite na se enyenya atwom na ye ya eniema se se onobo afanya maka enia bria wose etia mra wanti bi da na NPP fo agye girem wo sa asem we ho no wo mo ye bi mra bi atwam o sa mra ne de na o mo se eye mra sa mra ne de na 1992 constitution enkwa wom se se de no awu sa no mpo so mo ka kire yen enti se ye NPP na ya eye nyansade say a different party na ye dia enye nyansade omumbu nipa o omumbu Ghana fo omumbu nipa ana o machi taafo no so omumbu omo so omumbu omo a enyema bebre wo omo ye sisi ankomo nye omo ni obuo ni ani dia ma MPP fo no ko omo du omachi no me ko omo nim so asa akrofo eja wo omo dia beka bi omo gie di na omo bedi yachi eti sa etu omo to no omo fa common sense nya hwe omo ni common sense ato nkwanta pai eti ade bi o meye bia eye strictly partisan politics and wo moye sa ade ne ya papa o say ya boni o amanyosem no mo de beye na eniama wo petition we mu no ye Ghana fo na ye ni abra ye se ye protect the 1992 constitution no ye de ye ni abra ye be protect ye wo interest wo se president Mahama kwa aka so oni interest wo ma Ghana fo ye wo interest wo tinke be make sure say enkomo no be kwa animu Pacho Daniel Fori ne na allegations anasa ne nsam no de call ye ne ye kan drew allegation number 9 enti ya na ye beto also from 10 ye to also from 10 afa de obeti ne ma biase mami ka be nchiro Ghana Bar Association agu om hwani mase and me say me gidie bia ma omu bia me trust wo mu bia sa integrity ne credibility na me hold ma wo no kane no ho say ye ka so obi ye lawyer asumesia ya wa a certain respect bia ye de ma say nipa no because na ya dwe ya yen say obi a wasua mra de odi no kre but say mama mo kwan ma politics awuram he ukwa Ghana Bar Association mu a ya wa NDC ne ya wa NPP lawyers omu nyina ukwa ba no so a NDC lawyers NPP lawyers enti enye de ne yanim kane na obiemo emu ache enti sa what is Ghana Bar Association bi ye bibia eya NDC lawyers bi na ye bibi ana ya NPP lawyers bi na ye bibi that's it awase yate ya ho asesa se kane no eniema ne yanim fa lawyer fo ho so mu eka dokore no enti sa biam se ntro ene kwantompo awuram politics awuram because nkwafu kwa bia kwa ya law ne bi a wo mo ya lawyer fo mo ya party fo na ka 1992 constitution ye nyina ye claim si ye bo ho ban no ena de eye den ena obi si ye nko ho demonstration it is a demonstration we eye honorable afanya market na sponsor makacho say na agenda no wo no ono no sponsor sa demonstration no enti masem bisa Dr. Baumia say eya MPP na ekwentu obekọ bi chairman team bekọ sa demo ni bia na Justin Kwadi afrempo obekọ bi na be the on shout here, we will go to the street, we are going to hit the street. On shout adie na say. They all have agenda. Party money nim say wo agenda for mo. Na ka me kwate ya say chairman won to me be pre-national chairman. I the NPP aya to the sense say won to me be national chairman. Mo fa ne mra. How akumsi be national women organizer. Mo fa ne mra. NPP na ne anim no akrachi for party. Adabraka. Money mo guase papa. Thank you to. Adane is stubborn to. Meba try ya to so point number 10 ehwo ene aduru ye C7 me kan ye ho nyina na me pacho monya na mo fa petition no to so ne enko Daniel Foride ye no na ye nto aso ye wie pa na me bie phone lines na mo bia ba be kire na dwen ko maka cho say o man na ye bu no bia dwen wom enye ye nko na enim nyansa wo so awo fie no so hu wonim de ene ti ye obi adwen ye to so number 10 enie Daniel for repetition hour de call ye no na legacy na ewo petition no mu eya mako 21 na no de ye kan ye no ye kan dru number 9 eti ena ye to so free number 10 actually so 10 ye or say the honorable chief justice contemptuously refuse just contempt ewo assembly ho and a contempt na echi or to aso ye bibi opeso wo ye also refuse to comply with a decision of the High Court Accra Industrial Stroke Labor Court 1 presided over by His Lordship Justice Frank Abodje dated 30th July 2024 which ordered the reinstatement of a member of staff of the Judicial Service namely Thomas Odai Buafo in a case titled Thomas Odai Buafo versus the Judicial Service of Ghana and Ano. Suit number no and a twaso no. Near also 11. The Honorable Chief Justice refused to comply with a decision of the High Court Accra presided over by His Lordship Justice Frank Abodje dated 21st March 2024. Which ordered the reinstatement of the member of staff of the Judicial Service, namely Philip Kumayi Daliba, in a case titled Philip Kumayi Daliba versus the Judicial Service of Ghana and Ano. Meba cho sa allegations too ya makayama wunyina no. Ni tie watwam ane sem. Enipa bi ana wo mo eka Judicial Service no ehwo ana so mo kan lawyer fokuo no ho no. Asem bi e bafa wo mo wa de court no. Judge awa High Court excellence asem no. Wo mo wuni asem ti yansan reset wo bom. Yansan fra wo mo emra lawyer fokuo ni mu. Ma me gatutokunu wase wo mfa sa ruling ni nya adwuma. Emra kro na ye de adwuma High Court no. Ombusa amra no enti wanye simple. They are also 12. The Honorable Chief Justice arbitrarily, capriciously, and unreasonably dismissed Mohammed Musa, a Deputy Chief Registrar, High Court, Tamale by letter dated 5th December 2023, in under violation of Article 151 of the 1992 Constitution and treated with contempt. Representations on the matter from Judicial Service Association of Ghana and Mr. Musa. So no adi ni tumi pam nkrofo yi nkrofo adi. Se mra no kura tia kura emfa ne ho. 13. The Honorable Chief Justice arbitrarily, capriciously, and unreasonably dismissed Mr. Richard Bwedi Echampong by letter dated 12 October 2023 on grounds of absenting himself without permission and reporting to work conduct when dismissal is the highest penalty for major offenses and treating with contempt a decision of the Judicial Council on 29 November 2023 that a petition from Mr. Richard Bwedi Echampong be duly considered. Mr. Richard Bwedi Echampong was traumatized by the wrongful dismissal and unfortunately passed away in March 2024. Hey, get you tokunu. Get you tokunu. etimi afa kwan bi so apam obi afiri na dwumam ama nipa no de ho emra no kra kire se ade na anase nipa no ne krata wode aba no yensantra si ne yahwem yantena si ahwem nipa no de ho akwa akwu wawu nipa na wu won say eniema koso wo judiciary ni mu a ebeye den sa wo bete sa won kwa court nko experience eniema koso wo ha obi ka beka so oboa. Yet also 14, the Honorable Chief Justice unreasonably refused to comply with an order of the Court of Appeal dated 23rd May 2023, staying execution of a suspension imposed by the Disciplinary Committee of the General Legal Council, which council her ladyship, the Chief Justice, is chairperson, on a lawyer, Kwame Fosu-Jiabuo, and causing circulars dated 18 February 2023 and 15 March 2024 go be issued to all courts. Now I get to Tokunu. One more committee wadaso ekwatena ase eruli asem. One ya chairperson ruling na de ba no afanya adwuma. Requiring the court not to grant audience to the said lawyer. It was stated in the circular dated 18 February 2024 that the said lawyer's license has not been renewed for the year 2024 and further all courts are therefore not to grant him audience until further notice from the General Council. To me, it was also stated in the circular dated 15th March 2024 that the Ghana Bar Association had indicated by the letter that it had deactivated Mr. Kwame Fosu-Jiabuo's certificate generated on the Ghana Bar Association portal, marked or the number no akaho. All courts are to take note and take necessary action accordingly. 15. The Honorable Chief Justice unconstitutionally interfered in the judicial power of judges by purporting in a circular dated 18 February 2024 from the General Legal Council to direct as follows. The Honorable Lady Chief Justice and Chairperson of the General Legal Council has further directed that any other issue on Mr. Kwame Fosu-Jiabuo's application will be void. Hey! Now, sir, Mammy got to talk to me and a crown as Chief Justice and you see a power. Yes, sir, baby, Kwame Jiabuano crowding us a back piano or making sure, say, whatever one must want to some woman, you know. 22, 16 rather. The Honorable Chief Justice unconstitutionally interfered in the judicial power of the Kaswa of our court district court in the case of Robert Aswale, operating under the business name and style Unitrans Susu Enterprise versus Justice Akanji. Suit number no ewo by summoning the registrar of the said court to her office in or about August 2023 and ordering him not to proceed with execution process that were being pursued by the plaintiff based on a decision of the district court in favor of the plaintiff. Asama yedi akwa district court to be a judge be tina asam no so no wadie no ni afa judge no wo chief justice office akacha and say sa case we meant to aso me proceed. Hey, yedi sikato atentre de wo Ghana. Na woni sika obayede. 17. The Honorable Chief Justice undermined the independence of the judiciary by nominating the president for appointing to the Supreme Court 5 additional judges based on her capricious determination in collusion with the then president to have total partisan political control of the Supreme Court long after the term of the said president. 18. The Honorable Chief Justice arbitrarily, capriciously, and unreasonably transferred Justice Anochi Jima from the High Court in Accra to Kumasi on account of decision to Republic versus Opuni and others to conduct the trial de novo after the case was assigned to him upon the retirement of Justice Honyonuga. May I show say na ye kaisa case we Opuni na ni bre ya se Cocoa Board former Cocoa Board CEO one Alhaji Sedu Agongo mi ame papa asem e di kopie mu court judge anu oti asem no so no obi ya nim se judge wo ya bias Chief Justice ya wo bibi o se ne sa de nipa no ko ba be tra asem no so no so me transfer nipa hi Erade Nyakopon 20 the Honorable Chief Justice arbitrarily, capriciously, unreasonably, and unlawfully interfered with the administrative responsibility of the Registrar of the Court of Appeal. Chief Justice, they are already Civil Division, Accra to put an ex parte application in the case of Professor Margaret Kweku and ORS versus Electoral Commission and John Peter Amewu Sal case before the Court of Appeal sitting in Accra or about 16 December 2024 rather. Maybe I tried the also 21 last one. The Honorable Chief Justice acted arbitrarily, capriciously, and unreasonably when upon the plaintiff representation in the case of Afenya Markin versus Speaker of Parliament. She immediately and in the most unprecedented manner empaneled the Supreme Court for the hearing of an ex parte application in the said case. Remember, this is 21 allegations. Daniel Fori, petitioner number 2, for the Equoya. President Ejina Swama Council of State Active Committee was some no one after the premier for the case a woman. Mamika Bibincho. Emrana Yadi Juma Ewa Ghana, her 1992 constitution. What kind of 21 allegations in and I say most of them I was a Chief Justice of Crash said Branibe Jumano on one and what yet Yamrano so or Bubu court and judges ma woman instruction. And the case ya more interest woman no I read judge or tia some no so no freno or ran over stop and no transfer. Sana na kwaso judiciary nim me no me anu yati abantinti anim dia kwaso on to see ani bi bedu yamfa bi ni wa asema me kai unhu emuduro sana asem ne tie yamfa bi niu e wa Ghana judicial system nim a unhu asem no emuduro na NPP fuosu na mama te se abonye fruso ne yamfa course ne ntem ena mate se yase miracle aboaje se den me ana me nua be ma ase den NPP ba power Supreme Court judges na President Mahama ayi wo mo ba pam wo mu nyina na mo ba da ben NPP fuo kam sa President Mahama appoint Supreme Court judges na mo de mo nya atwom no de me dwene ho amenti ase o se Supreme Court panel na ho no ba ko pe any appointing on the NDC one more makani nyina ya NPP for it is President Mahama appointing binuma adwene ben na time na no dan kwa Akufo-Addo echi what they appointing Supreme Court judges does it mean says appointment no ye dey call Supreme Court no na you politically motivated ana enu ti ama na mo mani abresa President Mahama ebi mu adru say wo mo Supreme Court no mo kwa judges na wa appointing wo mo problem with it is it because of the mindset that you people had by appointing such judges to the Supreme Court ana now why na kacha mo say adwena na da mo tirimu amomo de appointed Supreme Court judges ne koye no sa adwenu na President Mahama tirim mo sa bo bi mo kwa kutire na asoso mo dae na mo bubo biribrim ta sa adwena na wo mo tirimu no say mo pese mo control judiciary no atentire ne de anya de bi bekoso na Ghana ha ye nim say ye nyina ye ne da so sa ye ne da so na ye court mo pese mo sai court no na mo sa court no wi anya ntokwa na mo de ba kuro nim enti adwombone a na wo mutirimu nti ana momo ya amadwen sache se ne na se judges na mo appoint wo mo no eye no cross wo ye NPP card bearer members dia mo ya no sa na kire o Because President Mahama appointing Crawford, na momo say, Sam Crawford na wa appointing wa mono momo pam wa mo in your capacity as who? Moreover, judges now on President Mahama by Wapamobi. Wapamobi. Munkwana wiase munyansa nyina muni mbebwa. And I'm a party na dani Kifet Club no munkwana munko concentrate na mon fixe na say next 32 years or 42 years and you consider mama hu dem baya mo. Association we stand say so mama in two stand because na first one no almost say almost the president here and was confined with the law and now almost catch Ghana for say my hu kwan na mra no enye adwuma ye ade chi no almost san be kan asem foforo say afi kra de asem no wo money president nya adwen wo bu mra so wo mo de court any ade to Ghana Bar Association am in two stands and honorable afanyoma can say ono so organize demonstration e de etia anamontu na cost so suspend chief justice enra organize labor ye to omudi mre bi this organize labor May Day wo mo so program na say wo mo kasaye say omone president nya adwen enti suspension no enka on train sign so many issues around this article 146 Council of State any committee na ya set so omonye nwa adwuma no aba ewo ho innocent
yeah asemo the dika ma mencha watie for we say Friday the NPP but here we are for God and country
sure
and mamenka say ye kase ye chichiro man ya da bia me kase it will take the collective might and the collective effort of us all
yeah
those in power and those outside power civil society organizations carpenter driver hwan ye nyina ye collective effort and ye kikabom and ye de chichiro man by discharging this collective responsibility no we need to be very candid we need to be very honest and we need to be very dispassionate na issues no ye confront ya yemfa nokre enye ye nema Ghana Bar Association ne stands on this chief justice issue na ekoso me until recently kwana minim say Ghana Bar Association edaso ho
oh are they
oh yes because yeah in the last 8 years yahu the atrocities akoso okroma saying the assault on the foundations of our democracy in this country individuals who have been hounded the integrity of the very judicial of which Ghana Bar Association has always been part has been on the offense downward offense has slide every single pool every single thing be about a judiciary no just air time now we Ghana Bar Association at that moment could not find its voice Nema na ekoso okroma various attacks in Nemahuna na ekoso court ruling na se be eba na nyansa nim and the general public were rising asking critical questions. This institution was very silent. Again, the president on several occasions, President Akufo-Addo under his time flouted the constitution of this country to the point where Dominivo issue court say the president action were deemed unconstitutional. Samra or yes this say not on a single occasion and I would see on my voice say you have numerous appointments and our Supreme Court bench. Appointment and President Akufo-Addo a known partisan individual. Among for him, Papa NPP ni uko whole central. Oko contest. It is not about whether the person qualifies or not. We are dealing with society. Civility is key. Bringing me on board will taint the integrity of the judiciary. Ghana Bar Association could not found their voice under these horrible circumstances. Once again, here we are change of government. Now President Mahama go through processes. Man for their brother or all of a sudden, then the dogs are backing once again. Oh yes, sir. Nobody will take you serious. So for me, they are just backing. You understand? Just making noise for people to hear them. But as it stands now, they've lost their essence. They have no reputation. People don't respect them. People don't regard them. And into now various social media platforms, there are several people who have had their voice or found their voice on this matter. But Ghana Bar Association alone is going through a lot of ridicule, being because among for them said they are not credible. This is a political movement, not a bar association that is there to ensure say free and fair whatever rule of law be kroma. it is a political tool, a rogue one that is being used by some individuals for a particular agenda. And for me, that is what they are. It's the reason why people don't assign any seriousness to them. Yeah, this is a legal institution. Or Baba Country and say, dear President Ayano, it's Yamra, and he unresigning decision. Or have rejoined a statement on what the Bible and say. They could not. They say they could not assign a single reason. It's just a President Mahama Abu Mraso, and for that matter, you know, suspension or the massage no onyai. We are not talking about coffee makers, so we are talking about lawyers. They say I know we are fundaka na camera. We are talking about lawyers talking law. So you should premise your argument on constitutional grounds. Infraction, legal infraction, said we now so President Mahama Fumwe, the processes has been outlined. And it's in line with the constitutional provisions as outlined in the Constitution. There hasn't been a single deviation from any of the provisions. And again, Nipana are part of the process. Mo AD na omo president asene just to ensure that this process goes through. No, these are not any individuals. So we are talking about individuals. Former Chief Justice at the bench, so a former Supreme Court judge, and these are individuals that President Mahama cannot manipulate them. So for these people to go through the evidence that have been submitted, now Omwa running into a conclusion that there is merit to this particular way, and the president can go ahead and form a committee. The president did so, and again, so the rights are president the constitutional framers, had that discretion. Emma President only he alone can exercise that discretion. And it says when the committee is set up to investigate the Chief Justice, the president may, that is a discretionary injunction that is imposed on the president or power and the president has activated it. Ghana Bar Association has no power. They have no authority to order and answer call President Mahama to resign that decision. You can only beg him because that is a discretionary power that is imposed on the president, and only he can exercise that power. So how dare you sit somewhere and say, your friend say, "Oh, nihu to me na," suspending the chief justice. Then I'm asking them, say, if I take you back to 2020, 2021, 2020 area, how baby, Abraham Manasseh, your friend say. Anas, an investigation committee no find said there is a premier facia in the defense case now. Yeah, the command President Akufo-Addo no. Why then did he suspend your friends judges? No, he suspended 4 judges and eventually sacked them. At the time, I also suspended your mono. Now, so at the time, Ghana Bar Association never find anything wrong with the move by the president at the time or exercise that discretionary power to suspend your friend is saying way for judges but today the same process is being activated that all of a sudden these people are backing like dogs as if you said they are relevant. But I'm say so person need take you serious over 5,000 lawyers I'm told around 52. That tells you how unserious this whole institution is. You understand? And in some more can for me, because there is no single reason, there is no logic, there is no sense, and again there is no legal backing, legal basis, or any constitutional basis for any of the argument they are making. That is what I'm saying. They are just backing like dogs. Because as many people will take you serious when you premise it, President Mahama breached this constitutional provision. And for that matter, the president need to. He has done this, and these are lawyers making. But if lawyers are talking like coffee makers, just assumptions, suppositions, just throwing things, just like that, people will not take it serious. So if the president even want to go by your directive that he has breached any of the constitution, point to him which aspect of the constitution and what breach, so that we all come and says, President breached this constitutional provision, and for that matter, there is the need for him to bring the Chief Justice back. But if lawyers are talking like this, A child say they are being driven by emotions, and when you are driven by emotions, you lose your senses. You talk foolishly, and for me, that is what is driving them. I'm for a way. But these are institutions that is supposed to be part of the foundational, your friends say, organizations. A bit me boy, I may idea of mine. You expect to say they will be very intelligent, they will be very smart and very way. But sometimes you listen to people on TV and you wonder, say, we are because sometimes the way they speak, you even wonder. You understand? You've seen a couple of them on TV. Sometimes it identifies the credibility of our legal institutions in this country as to whether the kind of ethics, morality, and those kind of we are entitled to belong to whichever political party of our choice. Yeah. Nobody can take that thing away from us. But when you want to engage in public discourse, be mindful that you are speaking to intelligent minds out there, not gullible fools. So assembly must be, your friends are factually coherent, must be premised on something substantial. I have a manipulator. Asama Brante. And again, the basis of the petition, no matter say it has no partisan inclination. For instance, police in the make a way. This is the police officer. As some started with Takrade. Your friends say beach front or Takrade and our town. Now on town cry, Bronino call Netherlands, and the girlfriend called 4G, Bronino documents, and over Thomas, I send the man, your friends, a police officer, and or toy. As some no call causes some power of a tone in or banning the tongue, property in the ma Bruni, and the man, a police officer, and a forgery. And I will do some good police in as a lawyer, no, a send call your due diligence. One thing and once in order about Supreme Court. Supreme Court, na yes, some bugu in swa, or the Chief Justice Konya Banta. I hold back and forth for my chain no two ma or there are some course raja and never got your petition thereby at the president and in this particular case, which aspect of it in a President Mahama involved? Because a personal beef between the Chief Justice and a police officer who is a lawyer out in the Nyasem. The other petition also talk about your friends infractions are also I don't know and you been a true you a audit service and Kasa a institution of Ghana accredited and a quiet judicial service, you know, or more audits and who these infractions and will be a chance on these infractions and our the rules and the Yan Sanshino and several other courtroom near my Akoso. So in any of these instances, baby and who bet me say, Ebia NDC Nibia and also been a search and also win a search until so be your near mano. Let us dwell on the facts being raised in this petition.
One of the petition, court, High Court, Rulima, BBG Abo. Say you're reinstating back today, and no say ruling near the buy and the Chief Justice.
Yes. That is the third petition from Sunshine, that group called Sunshine. So who read that petition? The man, yet me Bowla court, cause a court on just a air time, near my womb air time. So some of these near my wedding in Akahobi and over the years, the integrity of our judiciary, you know, has been sinking, and as a country, it is our sacred responsibility and our constitutional duty as people to ensure that we sanitize this institution. That is the clarion call by a larger section of Ghanaians on the president, and that's exactly what he's doing. So what the hell is going on? If Ghana Bar Association, an institution Ghana for free say baby ananka your constitution ekaka krebu kuroma say nka you democracy. They never found their voices. So over sana people see you become a bunch of hypocrites. Nobody will take you serious. Over the years, you know, when the nimsa adebukura ukruma efe Ghana Bar Association, all of a sudden people knew say when John Mahama and president and they will come back and shamefully here they are once again barking like dogs. The question is all these years, you know, are not Ghana democracy sinking to a point and not Ghana for wanted a military rule, even more than democratic rule. Where were they? Their duty is to ensure that we safeguard the foundations of our democracy. Where were they? These are legitimate questions any sensible person. You see, this emotional campaign being activated by these people, for me, is a senseless one. Nobody will take them serious. And maybe they don't know. President Mahama this time around is a different Mahama. He's not someone who will fall for some of this nonsense. He's not somebody who will fall for some of these theatrics. He's determined and focused on what he's doing. Because the mandate that has been imposed on him by Ghanaians, you know, is far bigger and larger president. He cannot afford to fail the people of this country.
Yeah.
So as long as the people of Ghana want institutions to be reset, he will do so. And he will not default because the very moment of a default, and for me, his focus, and for the NPP as a political party, I find your mark and say, oh yeah, way. Makata said, these are shameless bunch of individuals. They have lost cause. They have no credibility. There are people no serious mind will take them serious. Party na lusu. A very embarrassing faction. I expected they would just go back and then do self-introspection. The thing is that you may be dissatisfied with the turn of events.
Yeah.
But the question is, in seminar man for the con, is it legitimate or it is not legitimate? And process here, air course when they under your turn, you follow through and you do the same thing.
Sure.
And because it is John Mahama today, already on Ghana, as president, leaving the powers a constitution in the man he cannot exercise. Now, no, me catch yourself. NDC time. Professor Mills appointed your friends Mame Loretta, your friends Lamte, as your friends Shraj. Yeah, another prayer. And one Richard Nyama, a petition President Mahama said, Mamina Disika. President Mahama set up a committee to say, well, yeah, almost set it up. Yeah, premier for see a year, the Omuyenina. At the end of the day, the president sacked the woman appointed under NDC by Professor John Ivas and Tamils. Went through the process. Now, even in opposition, then submitted a petition to the same John Mahama. He followed through. Now, Wasaki Nipana. Now, or baby doing this no be. And the petition bar. What are you saying is that that person cannot already or yeah because on nipa. And again, Chief Justice na adwuma na what people should know said there should be a clear distinction being a Supreme Court judge and being Chief Justice. They are two different things.
Yeah.
This is a judge clothed with administrative powers. So you are more than a judge. So the decisions and the choices you make, our administrative impact effect. And if you do anything contrary to rules of engagement, you can be penalized for that. Yeah. But don't assume say you are being penalized because you are a judge. No administrative duty that has been given to you. Sadia na doctors in who are there or when Tamale teaching hospital the person is not being punished because he's a doctor. He's being punished because a doctor being given extra administrative duty. And administrative duty in the discharge of it, he has defaulted. And that is why he's being punished. You understand? So what you wanna say what would need clarity of thought? Now, if you want to do narrow thinking, if you don't want to do expanded thinking, if you want to go linear way, this is the way you think. And sometimes I feel so surprised and ashamed when I see old men with BS sitting on TV calling themselves lawyers, talking rubbish. Sometimes when they speak, they appear more confused on issues of law, even more than a coffee maker trying to understand law. That's what I'm saying, sir. Because sometimes some of these people, because honesty any their part in Ghana na with me sorry time about two lawyers back on the same issue. Interpretation depending on baby obi agina across the political the same classroom, learn the same thing. But because of dishonesty, they will never agree on anything. And in some more it's not driven by nyansao, it's driven by emotions. And that is why we are not moving on. But for me, we learn law just to advance the progress of society. Yeah. But in our part of the world, you could see a lot of yeah. So, oh yes, you could see a lot of TV. So now, so society has no impact. And so I think the president needs to remain firm, resolute, and stay on course. Because for me, as enshrined in the 1992 Constitution, as outlined in Article 146, the president as of now has never and has not breached anything. One, or say a petition will have to be submitted. The petition will have to be forwarded to Council of State. My culture said that is not a discretionary injunction, that is a constitutional injunction on the president. Council of State, they are not people we can bulldoze at them and influence them. These people sat on the petition, and according to some sources, which I doubt though, because a significant number of the people agree, say, there is merit in this petition. We cannot just discharge it, we cannot throw it away. So, Mr. President, let us form a committee. Judges. And what is your beef? demonstration na MPP for kwakwa to what end? For what? So this emotional campaign, and America said, no, Ghana for are very matured individuals. So you see, you can do all these things. And I'm a catcher IGP says, Obi a demonstration with Kroma, he should never stop anybody. He should allow anybody who wants, because that is their constitutional way. But Ghana for are smart now. They can discern between propaganda and your friends say what is actually the fact, because so cancer man for quiet demonstration because processes has been activated to remove Chief Justice. Who basis in the saying, and then a Chief Justice and I am a writer, or be a wrong. And now why they be wrong will be that should be the basis of being quiet demonstration. These are a major part of our politicking in this country has always been premised on emotions, because we know we are dealing with a bunch of emotional, unintelligent people. When we shout, they will come out and follow us. But through these platforms here, these advocacies, young people are becoming largely and increasingly enlightened, and they are getting to understand politics. You cannot be calling people out for a foolish cause. Trust me. People might want to know why we want to do this, why we did this, why we want to do this. And at the end of the day, if you are unable to provide reasonable and legitimate basis for your actions, trust me, nobody will take you serious. That is why I've been telling you that a time is coming. There are many people who have, over the years, been deemed relevant on the political stage. Yes, because the people were emotional. So Ghana for there are a lot of people on original political platform, they will fade away like a morning dew, because they have no relevance. They are there because the people were not smart, the people were not intelligent. So they couldn't figure out that we were dealing with a bunch of idiots. But when people become smart and very intelligent, they will know them for who they are. And for me, these people to take the bull by the horn and make sure that my culture say this Ghanaian dream is possible, but nobody can make it apart from ourselves. We need to be active participant and lead a charge, because you see future leaders leading this conversation. How can we sit here and allow grown men who be living tomorrow to make that decision for us? We need to be active participant and shape the future we want, a future of our own design, a future of our own creation, so that when we get there, we know say this is what we created for ourselves. And fortunately for us, there are vast majority of young people locked with talent in us. How do we do all these things to ensure that the politics will benefit people? But always, this senseless emotional politics, young farm for megu na media and also instead of them to just look at the issues and address them, because say MPP focus on bad demonstration on better platforms. I will ask them, what are your bases? If the person is not able to provide any sensible reason, you sack the person from your platform. Because apart from that, anything they are doing is an emotional campaign. And politics has no space for emotions. Emotions is a result for Obia, or you're depressed, and somebody who is unreasonable. Sure. But at the intellectual table, there is no room for emotions. Oh yes, you do away with emotions, zero emotion, you deal with fact, evidence, and then as a forum. But we've given prominence, oxygen of publicity to some of these individuals, and quote unquote, they think they are very relevant and sensible. This guy, Tafo MP, I'm saying, yes, he's all over the place. And I'm the cockle, there is no single reason and somebody cockle, but because the media will give him that coverage. Oh, what did they call court? Go to court based on what? A president, because is the president barred from exercising provisions as outlined in the Constitution? The president has that sole power and the discretion to exercise those powers. And the media will there is absolutely nothing. So I think
Charlotte said there's a the court.
Yes.
Emma Godfrey Damiko could defend it, say, a seminal crown could bet me I them 5 years with a saying. The president to crow when the mobile was second.
Yes, because with him. Constitution, and I'm the nature of our constitution now. Here, practice an executive presidency, where the president is clothed with enormous power. That power are very overriding to the stance until the constitution be put a full stop there. Nothing can stop the president. And in this regard, the constitutional provision, explicitly, where any implicit interpretation, explicitly on the face of it, when you read. It makes sense. The clarity is there. You know that these are the roles that has been assigned to the president. And these are some of the things. You see, some of the constitutional provisions are such that when they appear a bit vague, we can we can invent procedures and instruments to streamline it, but it doesn't mean say you can forgo what the constitution has actually written. So president say, constitution say obi the petition ba against this person. These are the line the president will have to walk. John Mahama from day one has been walking through the same way. Ghana Bar Association, if you have any concern, premise it on something reasonable, something sensible that will call people. Oh, Adia Papa Noyan and yet speaking against. But as it stands now, there is no single sensible justification for what they are doing. So for me, these people are just barking dogs. Nobody should take them serious. Among themselves, oh yes, there are lawyers in this country who don't regard the Ghana Bar Association. They don't respect them. Their own people. It's a reason I'm calling meeting now. You're saying an association of about 5,000 members. About NPP 52. Exactly. It tells you among Kasakra they don't even regard the institution. So it's a lesson. I'm sending a message to lawyers in this country. You see, Abia no munim. Dodo na elusu omo grounds. You can go to court.
Chief Justice or Brom Braswana, is he above the law?
No, sir. When Makata said Kroma said. Only say Kroma no say issue bar. Kwanya petition no fast so eliki no. Chief Justice enimu. Kwanya all trone letter edia kwakoma president Mahama say on man a copy eliki no he na onimu because you need to fight if you go to the constitutional line we can win. So let us activate a bit of emotions. Oh John Mahama ba na why na gen say when you sway the conversation to that particular line you gather more muscles in terms of politics to be able to fight. But if you are going strictly by the constitutional provision, you won't have enough. It's the reason why NPP has become a backing dog. A dog that is providing the vocal way for them and shouting all over. What are your bases? What are your reasons? There is absolutely nothing sensible that they can offer to justify why they are doing what they are doing. So for me, I think some of us are very focused. I will never sit here and support anything unconstitutional that is being done by the president. Okay. We will go after him. We will criticize him. But as it stands now, nobody. Ghana Bar Association, this is a legal institution. They could not even one. NPP, as of now, has not been able to. All that they are saying is John Mahama can say Oba or Besaki Chief Justice and the fact is that majority of Ghanaians in this country are very worried about the reputation of our judiciary. We can't live in a country where majority of the people feel dissatisfied the way a man a judiciary operating. A time will come they will not go to court. And for me, that is something very dangerous that we need to kill. Investors are coming. If investors are back say, the judiciary is very corrupt institution, you think they will bring their monies? Do you think they will bring their monies? They will not. You see that dollar is become a bit stable. Do you know why? I want to say that because investor confidence is a bit strengthened. So Obia or any business can say, okay, let me bring my investment here. That is why there is more dollars coming at Emma stabilizing. So if we don't do things to sustain the confidence of winner, we lose our clout. And for me, we need to disregard these people. Ghana Bar Association has demonstrated time and time say for them they have no reputation. They are very dishonest class of individuals. Nobody should take them serious. And for me, that is what it is.
Okay. Listowel abandoned. But me for way and chamna CID boss abaso. Me woman say me ne won komo bi aye di aye ndin wiye. But me born abaso waya de because obi na go say akwa me so say ade ati wenti mi anye no. Lydia don ko ba ya wa be. I think say Nyamia Yadom, there was a video that circulating social media. Just say Mami be a war kind of concept kidnapping. I don't know if you people chance on that particular video. I think na Ghana ni baako na afi alata ni baako. Na Nyamia Yadom ama kidnappers no. Yetimi achi wo mo rescue enkofo na omo ewo video dum no. Enti yemmo CID boss Lydia Donko Abaso, Waye Jumapa. We know where the girls are. They are safe. They are one who is sending Yana look. Good information about the council. They don't go. Our mama can be on trouble and say, we know where the women are. We know where they are screaming. As well, you man, why for fair family, I check kidnappers in our rescue and cover we involved. No, and it's CID boss who couldn't say I the best see. What they are saying, no boom. Sa I abaya no se Ghana jollof was a wine or dim kwa some social media better no. I call no. Any can say ba could be na. Or no so can who no din se hunu no. Or mon se mfuno mudi and omudi. Bebacha for mudi to stop less so. Investigation I actually say or to UK and omudim kwasem. 84 mudi to stop less so. Say abaya if you do crab at you. Now we on my way can say get interpol crash you da. More hide behind social media dim kwasem sa. Lydia don't call your bomb about so what boy Juma say ya na be corner dia Ghana for yebe feel you me feel you pa enti CID boss Lydia Donko nyame wo hiraw na onye okese alata for de so amoni yenti kroma idi se moni se ya na wo mbedie nenso wonya CID boss papa wonim na dwuma na chese kwan bia so no ba bia mo hye bia wo se etimi chi wo mo nti ye nyina no pe ye bebo CID boss abaso say waye adwuma ne ye we wa mekasa nye dede bebre ti say de obi ye press conference hey say no wo boa de nyina ya lo nyame ne ye boafo dali so wa kwa ba yeah now so na de mo she da na
say great minds they say
things like someone you be bra ya me show mo vivin
me say innocent
yeah we dey we dey make bia me innocent we dey obaso dey shut up
person dey asem to me so oh me you man so enye ye
anyway me pass here to me discuss confession to na equality Bradley so a quick one you heard Ghana Bar Association the two stands omodi amayen the first one was President Anamona Wotufa Chief Justice we no is in line. Another one you hear no master press conference say omni president nyadwe in fact asem crombe some the court na president nyadwe oye no enra organized labor disorganized labor Mayday no omo kan wasem say president Anamona Wotu no omo ne nyadwe enti wontwe and sign and reinstate Chief Justice back. There are so many conversations around the suspension. Don't forget Afenya marking the Motu is on course.
Mame fa kunya iso na menchia tiefo ne ahwefo. Na menchia minia innocent. Na memmo so abaso wonchia mu. Na se dru ba bi na honam ye me kura na mfa nche na sunsum le pe.
Honam mo mere.
We menya nro ha sei emro afo mienu. Ne ahemfu bi wokumase oboso o mahwe TV saa o montemenka
sana mabodi
nam se
unya bai we are late
nam kwaso na oboso we de ompamecho menka me ho na memra na neso me fa madwen kire matudwa kire se udwumadi a wodi no kwa kire papa
nyame ne da na se
and sabi obi anhwe kura me nko amede bu fi amehwe pa
me da se pa
yo mana ya wo ye na ya na mehwe bi Baby can say am I yourself yeah dia am say do baby ye refie ho woni ma bi ho na o ma ho kwan ma obi bo wo pa se ko ne fa wani mo nyamo anyame dia ma no ko jimi a nipa nso betwi wanim ma sabi o jimi no edadi ma wo de ahobrasie mu ehun se wajimi. There are so many things in this world ehun hia se nipa di nanim onyam be kwa akotwitwiri fom ewo ho.
Okay.
Titiri ne se esise otirimu fan a kina mai wonku.
Okay.
Abra wo be hu se kina mai ku nipa no. Eje se kina mai no. Wo hu se nipa no wadi dwirim ana wadi bone. Aye ni amon ho aye ni ambrasam ama enioma hodo a se fata se nipa ebeginya nyina so ewo so e de aka nipa nanim no yenya a bower and an idea. I told ne Unyame. Oh, Nyansa, so tear the word now. Now, who interpret here? Two words and ya can boom. Nya answer. Nyansa.
Okay.
It is a wuni bi na say a board to say the Joshua Abaku corner. Ubi bia obeye bia no Jimmy. Na ebi anu wanyini na ubo se nkwala a sabi Nyankopon adom omu nyansa no. Omo esansa wo wansua nyansa ntino na omu be kire nyansa. E wo bedwam. Because one ye nyina de di obedwam say wadwini no sabi. Ketekete ti say anoma ba moku. Oh, say,
Mamma Moon, a buyer here named Moku.
Now, oh, say, I didn't say, Obia, what I said, be intimate, say, O Mampeni, John Dramani, Mahamani, Monyami, Ebia, Emra, way, anyway, and a waffle. Ghana, yeah, you Ghana is nothing without our constitution. Say, see, I see a two constitution egua. Ebeye soja aban na say bia me na epoku na bia me di aban anymore. Me mfa constitution ni nya adwuma because me two constitution egu etu emu president because constitution no and na wo president obi a occupy public space ni bia na constitution na ama ne saa enti we are a creature of law. Enti no sa wo ye bibia arguments e wo wi ase a o mind asema Ghana mu a base your arguments on the law. So me say o mampani e ba ye no wa ye A B C D a wan famra kwan so na ye.
Okay.
Na fe no wo de wo so utirimupo ensem atudwa. Na a lawyer fokuo. Oh, my culture say it's the most useless association on this planet called Earth. The Ghana Bar Association, yes, Maka. It's on record. And I still maintain that position, say, until say Omube live up to their expected or expectation, you know. Public, no. Yeah, you know, yeah, call law school. Even though Sebio, Yeshua Emra. Yenya lawyer for na me answer na me metimi agye atum say yes obi ye lawyer ni no na e wo so oye lawful.
Okay.
What ma say so kuani kwa afom so wokoda de ntie e friend kuani no nya sika na ekura no no eye na afo na eda ho no a waye no eno na ma ne ye kuani sika de awudifo kura sika etinya se hu se obi kura sika e kwa o se we kuani ko he na afo.
Okay.
A lawyer fokuo no eden no moye muni nipa wo se nka mo kura no mo trumpet how I was nipa ya lawful law abiding citizens entino se o mampani eye bibi na ebia otietia emra so a mo ba bonten mo be ka se o mampani ade we ya wo ye no yehu ni se e wo se enka otie ofa mra kwan so. We had one of them, very useless one, of course, very lawless lawyer as president. In the S1 regime, the leader of government, the leader of this nation was one of them, very useless to the core. Omumra, omunipa, onfanipa nyehwe, otete nipa fa ahudie so, wato mra kene, eye de ono pe. We had a rule of man instead of rule of law, and the Gufado, who is one of them. Look at how the Bar Association hail worshipped Akufo-Addo when my own brother Eyawe Champon was president. Another very useless one. So when we discuss the Bar Association, sometimes it's so hurtful. Say we have not found another branch of an association. You be nyansafo what Ghana how we lawyer for more mako join. And you know both Nyansafo Any sebi nkwasiafo in the association. Now, if you find yourself in such an association, you have to see, say, the association begins its uselessness, and to the core, it has maintained to be one of the most useless associations in this country and in the world. Omo camera, nkwasiasem kwa no motiwo no mudie. They brought out a statement and make cramp no, me criticize it, say. Ebia na enne na afa na omahu nyansa.
Yeah,
now in the past no. Yes, in the past no. And you mo ye nyina no, I had too partisan, and I can tell you and beat my chest to say the association was nurtured and or birthed and nurtured by the NPP. Bibi bia ekoso association in bia no NPP na share and omoye. Go and look at the presidents of the association in the past. NPP for nkwa ubenya ndi senior ba ko mienu bi eno ko omo de ne ba they go behind the person to make sure say they play puppetry to the person becomes a puppet and they become the puppeteers and they make sure say koliko de e beka say na obeye so akoye NPP a legal branch eti bibi bia ekoso o man we mu no they forget the law and make sure say they abide by the dictates of the party called NPP. Now you're in this city, now you're a member of the bar association. You are also showcasing your stupidity. And what's that we are in this city, now you Cap Ghana Bar Association. Munina no more renounce some who free mu. Now mukwati mu mukuo. Yes, because it's a wing of the NPP. Okay. On adi akoso Jogate yire. Jogate na no ye MPP minister na ye yi na die no. Na oko election no lusu secondary na ochinchim mra FG free ayensu nsem Dr. Professor ayensu nsem no. Ono ne yire. Na ye bar association the president. So imagine say ne yire Jogate yire na ye bar association president a. Nyansa ben na sabi e wo fie ho a wode bi ba oman ni mu Jogate na ye kunu no nyansa ben na wo Jogate trimu a wode betete ne yire say me yire a wo ye association president ukọ akoka nyansa sem na Ghana fo ntie Jogate na meka na asemi nyansa ben na wo ni trim the immediate past president of the Ghana Bar Association no ya we champion SK Boafo ba NPP ni mapa oni ni nua nyina no mo ye bar association executives kwa na executives ni ko hwe NPP for nko it is your Ghana Bar Association. I get so hurt. It's an NPP bar association because it's the legal wing, the illegal legal wing of the NPP. Very lawless lawyers. They don't believe in law. All they believe in is at the end NPP for can ye ni so and oma ye koliko and NPP for so edi omo aye koliko eti ya kase mo fa ha no mo di akire and oma ye se enyan a omo anya ye friend ne san hwesuni anase fulani a o kan mo so. So NPP is the Fulani and bar association no aye enyan emoa me and omu nam and ye kan mo so say ye be kan no and amonye
baby aye dri say omanya ye so ne ye kase mu aye dia ye last resort judiciary no.
Yes.
Na say judiciary ye partisan NPP wom NDC wom no mienu nya asem ne court na judge you ati asem wisi o ya titi o say we ho nipa Satan ni menya bio.
Maka asem bi mesa to mu nchine ne.
Okay.
Uhu NSN MPP. Lawyer. Onim mra. Onim judge.
Okay.
Omo nyina no he uko law school ahun. Den tia me man ko law school ho no. Me yes me ko law school ho. E na omo ka kire me say Listowel. Kwa the way na o kan wa adwen no. Omo be fail. Me so no nyame aye madom sabi adwen no e kapa minim se yem fail me minim se me pass minim se wo fail me kura na me challenge wo because minim be mature na so no me yes me nko Ghana Bar Ghana Law School e ma me join Ghana Bar Association da some 10 years ago or even 15 years ago, and I'm here say, Minko because I don't want to be part of a moadom. Minye. Say me wa ma adwene Nyankopon dia ma me na me ntimi express me ma adwen. Na wo adwen na da wutirimu na awe na ache no. Eno mu na me mfa ntumi wutirimu dia menye. School a wo kwa yetimi busa say wo papa ye lawyer da. Wo papa ne hwan? Wo fie hwan na ye lawyer da. We ye school. School a say wo kwa we NDC ni a yetimi make sure say we mo marking it down. Etegi so yire hu sua dia NPP ni no wabon eso oba ba ye lawyer ni hwe nana bi o ye lawyer we pegari ni ma ko ye lawyer hwe ye friend say akwai asefua wo dia hwe NPP lawyer for no na hwe arguments o mo ye wo wiase e wo TV so ni radio so sometimes it's I said, "Ba no ya lower no," and I said, "Ya intelligence in ya hwibiem." It's about association. When they ye o party back, so let's bring them and showcase them to the world. Say, yes, so you are a lawyer for, but or kase we are. Can you find anyone like Chachu in the NDC, in the NPP? Chachu or NDC ni no betimi ehunesa so e wo NPP mu. Obetimi aka tell me say hwe obi anka obetimi senko nimade anka obeben aye bibi te say Chachu no lawyer okujeto no akokra no wanyini tie Chachu mpo waka asem obedwam aye atie na hwe ko social media hwe nkwala comments na hwe pani aye di natem asase anka awie ko for sase eno oye buginatus no wiewia. What am I say? So you can say NPP lawyer near who say or a lawless lawyer.
Okay.
On family nyajuma onimumra onim judge.
Okay.
That's the difference. And nothing about 2 MP this for say. Most of them kwate mo bar association. Na bar association no senka we mo kan kwase asem yi no. Na mo so mo di mo nyansa betu badwam na Ghana fo ehu say mo na mo ni nyansa.
Okay.
But some of monopolize the legal aspect of this country. Say bar association akasa o. They have not spoken anything law. But a son say yeah, bar association, you know, when it's reported, it's as if say the bar association, you know, and Yansafo woman in Kwasiafo in a can't send back. And then I'm more Yansafo na woman, Monte Mohammed who's a mono monka. Okay. They should begin to know, say, if your association is palpably misbehaving, it's about time I also know you have a dissenting voice. Who did you get? It's easy for no. Moya bar association members no. And then most from statement metuja. Some more no money bar association in yage. Now more some no more cano. Mutu kroni who's a momo ya lawyer for. No more dear sebi omo ya bad day for. Omo kwa dia juma no my ye. Not what go many more say next time no. So be a bar president. No can kwasi asemwa. Na a public judiciary. Then you will just give them some form of dosa. Ebe heal omo else.
All right. Matse.
Last but not the least.
Okay.
Mami Tokonu. The way now we are in New Man. I'm be able to yes, I'm yes, sir. Unim, Maka, Nano Mekai. NPP for Omo Kono. Omo said the way Omo my way chrono. I had there Omo to Betty. If you say Omo Kukuntokwa away, say Osia Beba. Nemono adia a very pivotal. I was a Ghana for Adwene John Mahama on to me for Obi and Cotonsa when we are brand Panian Fan and Court. And I could for now, we are cron for now, only in your ball mine, chrono, a ball mine. And then I uncle for a ball mine, ministers ne or chrono, I abono. And yet there, the Diabeco court, Sabai San. And you know, young packet court, no. Near say ya party for party apparatus and Koguo. Near Chief Justice, I know there. You're not friend, I had case in no attempt. It is here, yes, Cassette, the crown, say, yet the assembly quarter. On Benyan, Sobia Cassette assembly crampono. A woman say, well, yes, now so the assembly back no procedure crampono, procedurally, no, you are wrong. No more Bassam to a Bassana, a quote to Domamba near to Tuacan and Sam. It won't mean for Bianco to Mebois. eti John Mahama so ba ye petition ya bai NPP phone him say kianeke ebu aboma me no because wa sha say etua sika no na tell say wo gitum say wa bo man ne kro no udi o man ni sika wasa wusirem ena wa dia tum say afa sika no betua na unim eye ntatia ne kum suno osuno no ne yonko sunu nkuno entatia abia kitikiti bi sei enti Babylon ne omo ye friend say Jericho afesuo ya edwirigui aya ye nyom ene ye to petitioners no aye ye ho nyom a omo to na edwiri Jericho afesuo ni guo enti no san say NPP4 ya sa ne o mana aya afiase a omo beko ena omo ne maame ne kotena ho say maame ne make sure say omo awie sika ne nyina achie no eme yemfo obi ankotum enu nti na ahwe adubu ahia ono ne kromfo tutubotom ni we ya ne ye de ne kokotu yi no ono gina ho say oh me di bem say u papa obobra ena ko di say ska ne ja wa enka wo kenye enye wa wie ni ene kro no awuboyi alright enti no eye NPP4 esu ne omo ban na omo ya man boyefo kuo ena omo hu sesese no nipa na omo de ne kotena omo anamu say sabi omo asemba obebu atu egu no John Mahama asate buttons broscoto omo it is John Mahama broscoto ne dia na ne sabi abo ne yetwa ne ti a dia ka nya ahoma nti enu ne aye sese no obi a we wie sika bia no ne toate ne toatwi okay nti ebe kakra no ye du kokota tokonu ni ho ena oba beka oh my lord okay there be any here me kura me judge we fraud for aba there bi sese bafo boni na wa betina dwem no odone man Ghana say 1 penny kura wi a obeko
okay
na yire so na ehwe prison so enti sese na ono ne yire hwe prison so a ono so ba bebu aten no eno ne NPP fa yam hihie no
okay
the two can say bi papa we wo wa tokonu ene ya fa ne nkoye ye nto so ho okay man bisa
me da se
e bi asa the friend man bisa o si uto 1 to esiusi uko so a man bisa ya aduane bi ani krom nti sa na ye ma tokonu ntimi ma ye man bisa
okay
ti do mama hweso na ye wadwuma Ghana fo nyina tawachi
me da se ye ko ye second topic no pasa o meje to ni nyina innocent ye time no pasa ka be 15 minutes nti ye be boy ye homoden confession to I say adane maybe you can't to the confession to nye thank you to asa no mulusi lesson arrogance of power chrono ne economic crisis ni ade yaka o mantie no mde ko opposition tie no e confession na wo de adubu ahede no say allegation ba kwa asa be ka ho ne say omo Ghana Signal Bureau no internet service ana omo de ma Ghana Water Company Limited no instead na obema sika na ko aban account mu no or the personal account and na gi sika ne free Ghana Water for
Yeah, so I think the other clearly shows because say Akufo-Addo was running the criminal enterprise. Ono no nya mamu bi no bebu ye. Oba say boys medidi na boys. You find it be generational wealth.
Okay.
It takes one fool to steal. Now set up the entire family. Obia onyo pa onya adwuma da. You know, that is what they believe in those things. So omo nam stage is you binum papa by year some leaders in this country some years ago.
Yeah.
Omo ma didi ho a besin there ama binum ehun susan so no kwasan the be president so you should understand the mindset. One person will steal for a generation and they get away with it. Confession to Magdi Kanka say unhunyansa bi ewom and you see the mistakes are NPP elder in opposition, you know, explains why they failed as a political party. Sometimes basic rational decisions that a party, a government, leaders are supposed to make. These are basic. I say be school you know say 1+1 2 me faha me PSN. They were getting those things wrong. But because they were full of themselves, because they were so arrogant, they felt so they were on top of the moon, so untouchable, very intelligent than Ubia. But then for instance, a political party are going to election. In the history of the country, Obiano are going to election will suffer such a humiliating defeat ever in the history of this country. You pack your bag and you go to the grounds and say, "May thank you to thank you for them." it's not as if said the defeat was even marginal. What lose you to the stand in the history of this country, a been see that say a political party under this Fourth Republic will suffer such a. Then you pack your bag and say, me go thank you tour. I was thinking they will go for something like a reconciliatory tour, where you go and amend the crack on the basis. Then corner, almost at the time, candidates not see the omochi. I will be on a faction on the ground. Knowing this, I dream more mutu say I do we camera near chile because in some amount for bekan you cannot predict, especially when amount for no mudi chile no or be at Homan or mudi chile. And a camera DH video. Unfortunately, you saw the banter between Abronya and Mr. These are two people who have been running verbal diarrhea. Omubio Monua, the Baba Bian and the Musa. You saw the embarrassment that went on. Banter. Wait, and people were saying this thing. There's a political party that is saying, yeah, losing election. We are going to the base to build the party up. It ended, say, yeah, we'll be sick. And you see, this is the culture our party. Don't forget the answer Akufo-Addo will be the president. Party office, okay. Yeah, we are branching in the similar fashion. Pinche party office, way boys, and they want second yekuno. So, I did the violence. Abaye a signature and they characterize the current NPP that we see. That is why the last time I was telling you, her party number and there. Intellectualism has been sacrificed for idiocy. Nipa na omunim say oh nipa we na near free nim de o nitin de omo bomba boaye no. Look at Akufo-Addo government. Boachi Ejakon, Alancha Manten, Hwan. These people were deemed enemy of the political party and quote unquote very idiots. Omo kasa we no. They were the very people who had power and chance to rise to political prominence. So I know they no call major. You have a stronghold of the NPP. You saw people who were leading the political party. Obiena no kasa say be say ofri wura mu banche kasa boom. But this is the time a government our power amount for ho chiro mo a you expect reasonable minds to identify themselves with the pain, the suffering the masses were going through and speak in the language people find solace in the voice. But these people, Chama went to me at some point in time, but you go to me to Galam say you go back, go to win. Which person on his senses, right senses, will do that? At the time, the country was going through economic downturn. The president at the time could not even call him to order because the party became so lawless to the extent said, "Adia, your friend is saying, Nyansa, yet basic things." Now and that arrogance of power and that arrogance of taking over the stage. So yeah, for me, what is happening is not different from what we saw. What we saw was like a movie. I shared season 1, season 2. Yes, I say no. I'm part 3, part 4 on our position. Okay. And Takwana Shas, it's not going to end because so we see Canada, Japan, some on Namonusu to Gumuna. Emotionally, you know, this is a guy on side. The Otia not here, said what time Yame said Otia not here. Because how can you go to a party function and say, and yet democracy and here for crowd 50% they are here for. And you know, him for about video also. And what they don't get in this in a democracy, it's not about when you sika continue with them could do sika. Simple. In a democracy, it's not about money. Africa na monetizing the entire political space. So any idiot at all, Obenyan in sika things I can be president. Being president is never about money. It's never about wealth. It's about being intellectually full. You have vision. You know what you're doing. I didn't use you have at all. Yes. Nipa. I walk us out to me say Nyansa ni asem no kan me president and because mo nyasika. Who says that sika need the president? Kwame Nkrumah ba Ghana no nya billionaire o. All ko no nya billionaire. Adwen na net time team and no the leader of mine no. It is not about money. So this foolish notion people are creating out there say ma bo me bra wie. Na me say obi a wa bo ne bra wie when the sika no. Don't even come close of a president. Do you know why? Because that person has nothing to lose in case things go wrong. God has nothing to lose. Sure. We want somebody or mine to go wronger. His something is at stake or no, so it will affect him. We need somebody who will take responsibility. What happens? So Stop preaching this nonsense of what? Una wo sika wi ase nyina nya ona hwe obi a. And I make say the poorest person in Accra nra odidi ye. Ebi akọ odidi 3 times. The whole Ghana ebi odi na here no, but every day odidi. Kwa ba bi oti a osere. That person care about millions in Bugatti awutwi. Utwi Bugatti awutwi no fie. We must begin to respect people. Now you say governance, you know, it's about nipa. You prioritize human beings, human welfare. If you can't do that and you think you have your money, you are on top of the moon, this such nonsense do not have space, because on this political arena you will not survive. Okay. Despite any business, mo own any business. What is over alternative is about that? Because they are in their private enterprises, doing what they do. But the very moment you take leadership mantra, nipa the non from Kurano can question you as to why you're making this, because you can't run your mind. Your mind is sick, and you're not the woo or the jow. What I say? And I think that is the concept that we need to preach. So we best take it into a man for a team. Never who say or mind the nipa the chichere. So and about me and so nam so blame when a cathedral sika and and I'm saying that guy nobody should take him serious, because Samra those decisions there, because I don't know to China and not to Burkina. At the time Akufo-Addo was making those reckless decisions, we were deemed enemy of the state, anti-government enthusiasts. That is the name they give it to us. Baumia could not even speak. Now you are telling us a few days to election, no more to petrol. Now my men are not to petrol, and my papa not to petrol. So these are cowards. Nobody should take them serious. And for me, I think that they need to calm down. Realize mistakes, why how to patch and amend. Ego and emotion, those silly way, do not have any space. NPP a serious political party and can come to Boacheja Kufi, eti. Your friends Alan Chairman team fee trying to bring these people together. Say we move together. And I'm going to say, this is a party that is ready. Now without to say we will be buying a press conference. Now you are taking fight with media houses and forum. Now political party, we need media house when he will be. If you are very sensible, and we need space in talking or see what it is. I think they are not ready to learn. Arrogance will not take a larger part of them. It will take time for them for that arrogance to deflate and send them back into their normal senses and begin to behave rationally. And until that, they trust me, they are on a collision course. Until some hate distraction, and nothing will stop them.
Bradley, so I think 4 minutes.
Yo, where the say MPP assembly, say medical can say, who said so I'm on boy for assembly. The only reason why I'm a cabinet say me the Bema in Chirima at the air foot you. Say, will be a man boyni, Yanini Niagro. And the reason why a beer will be a bit DMPP, because now you know form. I just say, Jimmy, Finimofra Brim, and Penny Forces say, Jimmy say, Ubia Jimmy. The same pra Sebi or your team. What you say? Jimmy Wukun Swa Ukun anyhow. Nansani Wukun crow. But Jimmy Wukun anyhow. Entino Omon Semno Yana and whom he am saying can make a be, but send a bear a bear and a whole amen chilimas who say, Amayukubi. I am a boy for Amayuku and Untina Medemano. Yes, I come in Kabikura. Thank you, to. You must say, you can't thank you as HSN. And Nasia, and say, Obi Cassa or the Masedaka. HSM, I be behind Aman. Now, me ya ade ne man no aso nani nti obedamas me boa okay ti me dwen ho a me hu say thank you to na omoko no omu ni say Ghana for Jimmy Muli ya ma omu tumi ama omu be wia yen anu nti no mo ba be da yen ya sese ye ma omu kwan ma omu be wia yen no muduru ho no saa amane no omuntimi nya kokoduro emmo amane no nkire Ghana fo se moma ye kwan ma ye be wi amo no ena ye beda mase cause Bawumia ontimi nka say mo ma me kwan ma me de haptel ebegege mu prepaid sika die ontimi nka say Jack, where are you? $2.5 million na uwi aye no wabra na app no wo dada no ontimi me kan kire Ghana for say app no a na e wo dada na me de asase GPS me bedan no funtum mu ye no Jack, where are you no minyamu $2.5 million ontimi nka anyina so nka say thank you ontimi nka say e-levy sika na no de ye campaign no enti na order yase no ontimi nka omo na mo ni nyina we jail candidates including Bawumia o ye jail candidate ya omo nyina hu omo say enche ora ne nyoma ekoso yi no omo nyina be ko jail enti ene me nya ade a ebe ma Ghana for kra be ka say oh ye kra ye political way na afa na Mahama so tata yen ene sanete de ayen ko thank you to na nke ye ka no kra pa wo wi asimpa ade e wo se nka Bawumia ono ana nu nsem ono nam kana Japan no amu nsem ono nam omo ye no e wo se nka ayi no to ye omo kwe no komo fe no apology to se nka omo ye nyansafo a because Ghana na omo beto ye no o mama Ghana no wa ye mobo dodo ti se de na Akufo-Addo kan ya ye mobo dodo Ghana ye mobo dodo ena Akufo ya bomo nya kandifo papa yi no obi ani kapre ba woni botomo but obi anam a utimi se wanya serie bi wonanim chance independence bi ayeden aba
1 minute
medi manu si a medi besi ewo menua ken kwasi che da kwansem bi a ode bae na emudu papa o say all we know about the new economic world tells us that nations which train engineers will prevail over those which train lawyers. No nation has ever sued its way to greatness. Richard Lam and Watage, civilization, engineering, engineers, law, lawyers. And you say a bad profession to be a lawyer. But it does not make sense when you are a very lawless lawyer and you have a very lawless lawyers association like the Ghana Bar Association. I rest my case.